Israel has an allure that captivates you the closer you get to it. This is the Judean desert, a natural mystery that dazzles the eye. Highlands of Jerusalem, the quintessence of coexistence and harmony. Diverse ethnicities and religions curiously mingle together. There's an ancient trade route with a fragrant history. I meet the animals and people who have kept to the Negev desert along the spice route. From the blessed water of life, Galilee, the lifeline of Israel, to the lowest place on earth, the Dead Sea. I'm now beginning my story of Israel, a land with people who worship the God of heaven. Israel is situated as a long and narrow key point connecting the two continents of Asia and Africa. It's the size of Gyeongsang Province, Korea, but you can find highlands and plains, deserts and lakes here. My first destination begins in the Judean desert. Looking down at Israel from the air, the first thing that you see is a large, expansive wilderness. Most of the nation's land consists of such barren land, but this desolate wilderness holds the roots of a spirit, which has led Israel thus far. This is a land where what is not seen runs much deeper than what can be seen. I'll have to stand there myself to see the profound allure of the Judean desert.
여기가 사해 최남단 소돔산입니다. 장장 8km에 걸쳐서 형성된 거대한 소금 덩어리로 형성된 소금산이죠.
This is the place of Sodom and Gomorrah from the Bible. God makes Lot's family escape before he destroys the depraved city. However, while fleeing, Lot's wife looks back. Story has it, she turned into a pillar of salt. Salt accumulated for tens of thousands of years to become the huge mountain of Mount Sodom. It continues like a long mountain range for 8 kilometers. There are dozens of caves hidden amongst the cracks in between. The salt caves, which have been carved out by time and contained by the wilderness, boast a unique landform that can only be found in Sodom in southern Israel. It may look as if I'm climbing any average rock mountain, but every inch of land that I walk on, every rock I pass is not common rock. It is all salt.
지금 몇만 년 전에 소금의 세계로 들어온 것 같아요.
It seems a big chunk has been taken from a mountain of strangely shaped rock and stone and was placed here. But is all this really salt?
멀리서 보면 거대한 바위 같지만 가까이서 보면 투명한 소금으로 이루어진 거대한 소금산입니다.
The solid-looking rock shows its transparency under a light. My hand unwittingly keeps clicking my camera's shutter. amazed at how salt is able to form such a wonderful spectacle.
아유, 아주 뭐
The clear salt crystal is hard and sharp. But how was such a salt mountain formed in this desert? Sodom was originally a part of the Dead Sea. The salinity is concentrated inside. While the Dead Sea evaporated, the salt crystals gradually emerged and became this salt mountain.
예를 들어서 이렇게 보면 이게 돌처럼 보이지만은 자세히 닦아 보면은 소금덩입니다. 이 소금덩의 맛이 한번 어떤지. 아주 짠맛 중에서도 아주 쓴 그런 그 소금 맛이고. 이거 맛있네.
It has a peculiar taste that blends with a strong saltiness. A deep aftertaste created by time over the Judean desert remains in my mouth for a long time.
하늘이 뺑 뚫려 있고.
To encounter a landform that stands out amid the brown desert is a great piece of luck. The completely white world, as if sprinkled with white dust, becomes a canyon in an instant, then turns into pillars in another.
아주 신비의 세계 들어오는 것 같아요.
Most tourists pass this place by even after coming all the way to the Judean desert because they don't know about it or have the time. However, once you lay eyes on it, you might make the Judean desert your first destination. I can't help but marvel at the pristine white landscape that seems not a part of this world. The soft limestone region, which continues from the highlands to the Dead Sea, is a strange and interesting natural exhibition hall. Rainwater became a sculpting knife, and time became a chisel to create this masterpiece.
이 보세요. 살짝 건드리기만 해도 무너집니다. 이게 아주 연한 석회암 지대가 저 유대 광야 쪽에서 오랜 세월 동안 빗물이 흐르면서 이 자연적으로 형성된 이 모양들이에요.
The remnants left by the rainwater look like rice cakes that have been painstakingly piled layer after layer. During the winter rain season, the rainwater flows into the valley. The valley where the river flows is called a wadi. The wadi also becomes a passageway for those who travel through this desert during the dry season.
계속 물이 흐르면서 이게 또 하나의 와디가 만들어지고 있어요. 아주 오랜 시간 후엔 다시 이곳 와디로 사람이 또 올라갈 수 있는 길이 생기겠죠.
Everything looks as if it is captured in time, but the Judean desert has been transforming ever so slowly, but persistently. The wadi, an enormous waterway created by water, wind, and time, passes through the Judean desert to make a vast landscape. Not only that, it becomes a waterway during rainy seasons and a road for people during very dry seasons.
여기가 와디 아르곳입니다. 유대 광야의 동쪽 끝이 사해와 맞닿아 있고 전 유대 광야에 비가 내리면 이 와디 아르곳과 같은 여러 개의 골짜기를 통해서 삽시간에 이제 빗물이 사해로 흘러 들어가죠. 이곳이 사해로 연결된 유대 광야의 골짜기에서 가장 큰 곳이죠.
Rainfall in the arid Judean desert is no more than 200 millimeters per year. The water is literally more precious than gold. It is a much appreciated water of life. In the desert, creatures live even on such a small amount of water. Everything lives on despite having so little. The desert seems to be a place of infinity inside finite conditions. But how can people and animals all survive on such little precipitation? A person's wisdom shines more brilliantly under a barren environment. They use wells.
이제 비가 내리면은 이 유대 광야에 많은 이제 천이 생기게 되는데 이렇게 굽어지는 곳에 물을 이렇게 유인을 합니다. 이렇게 유인을 해서 요 통로로 물이 들어가게 해서 이 물을 저장해 두는 거예요. 그럼 뭐 지금 이제 건기 끝이라 물을 많이 썼을 텐데도 깊이가 있어요.
Seeing water in an arid land is so heartening. It has made me want to guzzle it down. Where there is water, there are bound to be people. At the easternmost tip of the desolate Judean desert is an island-like lone verdant village. In a plain full of dry piles of rocks and dirt, how is it that this solitary place is green? The rare verdant garden emitted a different atmosphere from the entrance.
תודה רבה.
아따 하이미셸라 키부츠
כן,
엔게리
כן, כן.
이분이 키부츠의 창립 member시고 산 역사십니다. 이분을 통해서 오늘 이 유대 광야 엔게디 키부츠를 한번 보겠습니다.
A kibbutz refers to a cooperative community. In 1956, people gathered here with the aim to sow this barren land. The people have created a botanical garden and a tourism industry. There are 500 residents who live as a community, working and dividing amongst one another without private property. The botanical garden contains everything from African baobab trees to flowers from the Brazilian jungle. They have cultivated over 900 species of rare tropical plants from all over the world.
ואנחנו רואים את האלוהידה ממדגסקר, זה צמח מדברי ממדגסקר.
와, איך יכול להיות? מה זה? זה כמו מלפפון או מה?
עכשיו, למשל, באזורים שהקקטוסים גדלו בעבר היו אינדיאנים. והם למשל, את הקוצים של זה, עשו מזה חכות לדייג.
The botanical garden is rich with many things to see now. But 60 years ago, when this kibbutz first developed, they say the soil tasted salty from being close to the Dead Sea. They watered the barren, salty soil over and over. They repeated this until the salty taste disappeared. And only then did they start planting.
כן, עכשיו, זה יפה.
60여 년만 해도 이렇게 광야의 메마른 땅이었다 그럽니다. 그런데 이렇게 이 나뭇잎이 떨어지고 거름이 생기면서 비옥한 땅으로.
ואחר כך גם היינו מריחים את האדמה. אם יש ריח של רקבונות, זה אדמה טובה. אם אין עוד ריח, אז שמים עוד בשביל שיהיה לו בקטריות שיעשה... כן.
There must have been easier places to live. Their conviction and will is amazing.
זה טוב. הנה. This is the Sodom apple, and it's like a balloon. It's like a balloon. Look. Aha!
What an interesting fruit. Its lovely name is the Sodom apple. However, it has an unexpected meaning.
And inside you have the seeds. The seeds, and you see is parachute. רגע, תעיף אותו.
It means something with a showy exterior, disappointing.
It's like a parachute. אני אומר שזה עבודה במדבר, זה אהבה של המדבר. זה להפוך את המדבר למקום של חיים. כי נס יכול, כמו שנס בא, גם נס יכול ללכת. אבל אם אתה עושה משהו עם שורשים, זה כל הזמן פה.
Nevertheless, I can only say that the verdant Ein Gedi kibbutz that has risen in such a desolate desert is a miracle. The wilderness goes on and on to no end. I live in Israel. I come to the Judean desert and drive away whenever I am worn out. The Judean desert has a strange allure. Here, there are no roads. Each moment, something unexpected happens. That's why, whenever I come here, I come with at least 2 vehicles in order to help each other out if a problem occurs. The heart-dropping predicament is short-lived. Peace resumes. Don't you think such views are what makes people come to the Judean desert? This desert seems to speak to those who are busily living their lives. It's all right to put it all down. You have to empty yourself if you want to fill yourself. The animals of the Judean desert have already figured out how to live in such poor conditions since long ago. There is an old saying that says, "It is only God and the Bedouins who enjoy the Judean desert." The Bedouin shepherds, lords of this land since long ago, have freely roamed the plains while looking after their flocks. These shepherds made a great discovery that shocked the entire world. This is Qumran in the Judean desert. We climb a hill quite high that lacks any guideposts. "2,000 years passed without anyone aware of the caves hidden in the cliffs that fall from a flat land.
이곳이 20세기 최고의 고고학 발굴로 기록된 쿰란 제1동굴입니다. 이 동굴에서 발견된 성경 사해 사본을 인하여서 전 세계를 놀라게 한 2000년 전에 쓰여진 사본이 세상에 드러나게 되었습니다.
This region used to be the dwelling place of the Essenes, who lived in the desert isolated from the external world. Around 70 AD, when the Romans invaded the land, the Essenes hid their copy of the Bible inside jars and placed them in caves. Then, 2,000 years passed, and it was 1947.
염소를 잃은 한 목동이 이곳에 와서 혹시 이곳에 그 잃은 염소가 있나 찾아보다가 어두워서 들어가지는 못하고 돌을 안쪽으로 이렇게 던진 거예요. 근데 쨍그랑하는 항아리 깨지는 소리가 나면서 들어가 보니까 양피지 두루마리 7개를 발견한 거예요.
In the jars, which had lain asleep for 2,000 years, were parchment scrolls made from animal skins. When the scrolls discovered by the shepherds reached archaeologists, they were revealed to be copies of the Bible written 2,000 years ago. Thanks to the dry weather, the scrolls were fairly well maintained in their original form. Most of the copies that were found then were written in Hebrew. Texts which record lives of the religious are claimed to be vivid data for understanding the period.
당시의 쿰란의 공동체를 이루었던 사람들의 생활 방식, 또 그들이 종교 생활에 대한 믿음들을 이 고백들을 적어놓은 2000년 전에 당시 내용들입니다.
Excavation of the surrounding area commenced after Cave 1 was discovered. Over 1,000 scrolls were found in Cave 10. In particular, the entire chapter 66 of the book of Isaiah was discovered in Cave 4. I'm sure that somewhere out there are more documents that have yet to be found. It is not only the Qumran community that carried on their religious lives, isolated from the rest of the world and away from city life. Mar Saba Monastery sits dangerously on cliffs that overlook Kidron Valley. Just who and why did anyone come into this remote location for their monastic life? Mar Saba Monastery was built in 483 and is the oldest existing Greek Orthodox monastery in the world. Saint Sabas came to Kidron Valley, isolated from the rest of the world, to a cave and practiced his ascetic life. When he acquired disciples, he formed an ascetic cave community. However, women are restricted from entering the compound. It is traditionally off-limits to women for the monks who devote themselves solely to monastic life.
But here there was 60 monasteries in the desert.
60 monasteries.
Saint Sabas was so revered that he was proclaimed the leader of all monks.
1500년 전에 돌아가셨는데 지금까지도 이렇게 미이라로 이분을 잘 이렇게 모시고 있고 그 정신을 따라서 지금까지도 1500년 동안 이곳에서 수도사들이 계속 기고를 하고 있습니다.
It is said that the saint ate only a minimal amount of food and strived to protect the suffering before he died here. Which is the cave that he first practiced asceticism in when he arrived in Kidron Valley?
사바 수도사님께서 처음 저곳에서 5년간 불을 나오지 않고 수도를 했다고 하는 것입니다.
How could he live for 5 years in such a cliffside cave? It feels as if I would plummet to my death should I take a wrong step. The height is over 100 meters. It makes me dizzy just to look down. The cave is large enough for a single person to sit inside. It would seem that one couldn't even spread their legs for comfortable sleep lest they fall. However, there are a great number of these caves. Each precipice is pocked with holes.
이곳이 기드론 가에 마르사바 수도원 근처의 수천여 개의 동굴 중에 하나. 이곳에서 수천여 명의 수도사님들이 기도를 하셨죠.
But why is it that so many people came all the way to a place like this? Even within a desert isolated from civilization, they went further into the cliffs, difficult for human hands to reach. I wonder how pressing it was for them to make this their place of spiritual practice. What else did they find in such a perfectly empty desert, in this silence-filled, desolate land? I'm now heading for Masada, a sacred place imbued with the resistant spirit of the Jews. Masada, which towers high amid the desert, is an impregnable fortress. Long ago, a huge flood of water swept through the Judean desert and left this peak. When Jerusalem was conquered by the Roman army, about 1,000 Jews fled Jerusalem. They fled through this desert and climbed the natural fortress Masada, located 130 kilometers from Jerusalem. It takes 3 minutes by cable car and 1.5 hours if you go by foot. But it took as many as 3 years for the Roman army to reach Masada's summit. Masada was originally a refuge where King Herod had staked out in case a riot broke out. It was a perfect refuge because enough food and drink to last several years had been stored there. For the Romans who came in pursuit of the escapees, there was no way for them to bring the Jews down. Remnants of where the Romans were stationed remain to this day.
그래서 나중에는 이 로마가 자존심을 걸고 저 마지막 남은 그 열심당 유대인들을 마사대에 있는 완전히 쓸어버리겠다 하고 15,000여 명의 당시 로마 군 또 유대 땅의 노예들을 데리고 이곳에 왔는데 전 유대 땅을 점령하는데 채 1년도 안 걸렸지만 이 마사다를 공략하는 데만 3년이 걸려요.
The Romans were inexperienced in battling in such a hot desert where there was no water, so there was not much they were capable of. Blindly waiting and shooting rock cannons were all they could do.
(100m에서) (500m까지) 나간다 그래요.
How heavy would it be to be able to shoot this?
한 100km 나갈 것 같아요.
The last resisting Jews had come in a rush, but they did not lack anything at Masada, despite dwelling there for 3 years. They had everything they needed, from houses to arsenals, a school and a synagogue. There is one more thing that King Herod put most effort into: water.
이 유대 광야에 있는 이 마사다의 물 부족을 어떻게 해결했는가? 이 마사다 정상에 내리는 물은 물론 이제 도랑을 만들어서 받지만 그래도 부족할 경우에 이 유대 광야에서 흐르는 이 물을 바로 와디로 가지 않게 이렇게 도랑을 만들었어요. 많은 물들을.
It's amazing how they tried to gather one more drop of water with the short bit of precipitation in the winter rainy season. There are 25 water storage tanks in Masada, You can find cavernous entrances and gullies all around. The size is enormous. This is the reason why close to 1,000 people were able to survive for 3 years. And that's not all.
이 3년 동안 그 유대 그 저항군이 있었을 때에 이 단백질이 필요하잖아요. 그걸 새에서 특히 비둘기에서 그걸 찾았죠. 그래서 유대인들은 비둘기를 먹어요. 그래서 고대에 이 성전에 비둘기를 가져와서 번제를 드리기도 하고 제사장이 먹었잖아요. 그래서 이렇게 마사다에도 사육을 해가면서 비둘기로 이 군사들의 단백질, 고기를 공급을 해줬어요.
Equipped with breeding coops for pigeons, they would have easily been able to survive not only 3 years, but longer. However, the Roman troops would not just idly watch the Jews atop their fortress. They started to build earthen ramparts. After standing face to face for 3 years, the Romans finally attacked at the summit by raising an earthen rampart from dirt that they acquired from the desert. However, the final remaining Jews all killed themselves and did not allow the Romans any taste of victory. With this, Israel disappeared into history. This was in 73 AD. You can frequently see boys carrying a large Torah in Masada.
Gabe, you doing okay?
Yeah.
And now we're just going to go to the left of this.
It is to have their bar mitzvah at the old Jewish religious school of the last resisting army. Bar mitzvahs. To the Jews, the coming of age is a very significant celebration.
A little more serious answer I'd like to share.
Amen.
It is a promise made not through one's parents, but directly with God to be a child of God.
My words, but the message is from Hashem. The answer is yes.
The boys prepare for a long time with their Torah reading, the Jewish scripture which is written in Hebrew. 2,000 years ago, with the final resistance at Masada, the Jews lost their nation and had to scatter all over the world. They come to the historical site for their bar mitzvah to instill them with the Jewish spirit and roots.
Dad and Mom for bringing me here.
You're welcome.
all the like things I bought here, staying here the whole bar mitzvah.
So we're from California, from the United States, and the traditional bar mitzvah in the United States can be in the local, the neighborhood temple,
Yes.
right? But we thought to get a stronger connection to Israel that we would want to have it here.
The power that guides Israel. This is the Judean desert, where the Jewish spiritual roots lie.